A warm welcome to TV Africa News and thank you for always joining us. This is Africa Today. My name is Najuma Luima, but first are the headlines. President Museveni calls for an emergency national COVID-19 task force meeting. Swearing-in of local government representatives enters day 2. Locals trek to Lake Kivu as volcano crisis cuts water supply in Democratic Republic of Congo. And in sports, Okwi elevated to Uganda Cranes captain's status. A warm welcome once again. Now the news in detail. The President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has directed the Ministry of Health to form a COVID-19 temporary national task force headed by the Permanent Secretary to handle the national response to the current resurgence of COVID-19. Our reporter Nahabwe has more.
According to the document signed by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Atwine, and copied to all heads of service and secretary to cabinet, the World Health Organization country representative, country director, CDC, among others, pending a new cabinet, the COVID-19 temporary national task force will comprise of the permanent secretaries and undersecretaries in the country. The Director General of Health Services in Uganda, Dr. Henry Mwebesa, while addressing the public on current COVID-19 situation in the country, say that according to the ministry statistics, the number of cases and deaths are increasing, with the most affected age group being between 20 to 39 years. Dr. Mwebesa added that the intensity of severe and critically ill COVID-19 patients is higher than what was experienced in the first wave. In the first wave of the pandemic, which took 3 to 4 months to get to the full-blown pandemic, while in the second wave, it has taken the ministry less than 10 days. The increase in the number of cases coupled with deaths, according to Dr. Mwebesa, is largely due to complacency in adhering to COVID-19 public health prevention measures. Dr. Mwebesa said that the districts that have reported the highest number of cases in the last 14 days, according to the Ministry of Health, are Kampala, Wakiso, Gulu, Amuru, Moroto, Arua, Mbale, Masaka, Oyam and Kalungu. However, he added that this does not mean that the other districts are not affected, although the known districts have been vigilant in carrying out surveillance, testing and reporting.
Nakawa East Member of Parliament-elect and also the outgoing Mayor of Nakawa Division, Honorable Ronald Balimwezo, has urged councillors to endeavour to fulfil their responsibilities and serve their people diligently. He said this while on the swearing ceremony of the newly elected Nakawa Division councillors. Nalugo has more.
Nakawa Division, one of the 5 administrative divisions of the city Kampala, has sworn in 92 councillors, of which 43 are from the National Unity Platform, 5 from FDC, 25 from NRM, 18 independents and 1 from the Democratic Party.
I, Odeke William Okalang,
swear in the name of the Almighty Allah
that I will give faithful service to Kampala Capital City Authority, Nakawa Division.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Uganda, and I will preserve, protect, defend the Constitution of Uganda. So help me God.
The outgoing Mayor of Nakawa Division, Honorable Ronald Balimwezo, has warned councillors of the huge tasks ahead of them and advised them to adhere to service delivery if they are to fulfill the responsibilities given to them by the people.
We have quite a number of services that they are mandated to deliver. And these include good road infrastructure, garbage management, tax collection, and so on and so forth. Therefore, it is upon them that today they have sworn to deliver those services, that they do such. I know it's not easy, I know the people gave them their votes and therefore they demand for such service to deliver.
The newly elected mayor of Nakawa Division, Honorable Paul Mugambe, has vowed to improve the health sector in the region in order to save the 19 mothers who die every day due to maternal health complications and also improve on the livelihoods of the poor people.
Nakuru na amalala tusaba tugenda kulwana okulaba nti gabaamu amalagala. Tulina waliwo eriri ebukoto eryo twalisula eyo naye twetaaga okuba nti eddwaliro eryo tulikomyawo n'okulisaamu eddagala n'ebyetaagisa. Bama baffe bafanga n'ebirala. Endwadde zikyali nnyingi nnyo, twagala okulaba nti abantu baffe tulaba bafuna obujjanjabi.
Nakawa is located on the eastern edge of the city, Kampala. It is bordered by Ntinda to the north, Chambogo to the northeast, Banda and Chileka to the east, Mbuya to the southeast, Bugolobi to the south, Namuongo to the southwest, Kololo in Kampala Central Division to the west, and Naguru to the northwest. Nalgo Muyingo, Africa Today.
Chambogo University Vice-Chancellor Professor Eli Katunguka has suspended physical learning and ordered for online learning following a spike in COVID-19 infections at the university. We have more with Kachanchu.
Chambogo University Vice-Chancellor Professor Eli Katunguka said that the university has registered 8 cases of COVID-19, with 6 being students and 2 administrative staff. Professor Katunguka says in addition to the confirmed cases, many students have cough and flu, and yet many have refused to get tested, warning the situation could worsen. He has now asked all deans and heads of departments to engage students through open distance and e-learning to avoid physical contact. He has meanwhile urged all students and staff who present symptoms of COVID-19 to stay at home until they fully recover. This comes at a time when the Ministry of Health has confirmed 207 new cases of COVID-19 as of May 26, pushing the cumulative number of confirmed cases stand at 44.281.
Moving on, Uganda Airlines has announced that it will introduce regular scheduled flights between Entebbe and Johannesburg effective 31st May 2021. We have more.
According to the new route chart, Uganda will start with 4 weekly flights on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday to Johannesburg, and from Johannesburg to Entebbe on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. The launch is part of the long-term plan for airline to embark on long-haul flights following acquisition of 2 brand new Airbuses in the A330 to 800 Neo series in December last year. The new aircrafts represent a significant capacity increase for the airline, which initially had a fleet of 4 Bombardier CRJ-900 jets, which launched regional operations in August 2019. The new route, according to Uganda Airlines, offer the best solution for all travelers, with the only non-stop schedule service between Entebbe and Johannesburg, reduced journey time, more flight frequencies, and superior on-board service are the most competitive fares on the market. Beyond the main hubs at Entebbe in Johannesburg, the new service will also enhance connectivity to and from the current airlines network, which included Nairobi, Dar es Salaam, Kinshasa, Juba, Mogadishu, Bujumbura, Zanzibar, Mombasa, and Kilimanjaro.
The Minister of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities has announced that the ministry is recovering from the losses incurred during the COVID-19 pandemic that has hit the country and the world at large since 2019.
Addressing journalists at the Uganda Media Center in Kampala on the 27th May 2021, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Doreen Katusime, said that the sector, which was hit by COVID-19 pandemic, is now recovering after government response and intervention.
The annual foreign exchange earnings had dropped by 73% from the 1.6 billion I told you to 0.5 billion US dollars. Foreign visitors had dropped by 69.3% 473,000 visitors. Employment opportunities have dropped by 70% to 160,980. As of June 2020, hotel occupancy rates had dropped from an average of 58% as low as 5%, with over 75% hotel bookings cancelled, causing a direct loss of over 320 million US dollars, an equivalent of 1.19 trillion Uganda shillings. Now, what did we do as a sector and as government?
According to Katusime, the government, working closely with the private sector and other development partners, developed standard operating procedures that guide the reopening of tourism, as well as accepting upcountry accommodation facilities and Kampala-based hotels from paying value-added tax up to 30th June 2021.
As a result of these massive losses, government, working with the private sector and development partners, undertook several interventions to resuscitate the sector as follows. Number one, working with the Ministry of Health, we developed and disseminated tourism-related and specific sector standard operating procedures to guide the reopening of the tourism businesses. Secondly, working with government and Ministry of Finance in specific, upcountry accommodation facilities were exempted from VAT up to June 2021, and later this was spread to all the other accommodation facilities, including Kampala. Thirdly, Uganda Development Bank was capitalized by government to extend low interest credit to tourism enterprises. These interest rates offered by UDB are about half the rates available to private businesses by other commercial within the country. The ministry worked with some development partners, particularly the European Union, to add to some of the money that was given to UDB, and the EU was able to raise 6 million euros and gave it to UDB to support this initiative.
Katusime said that according to a recent survey undertaken by the Ministry of Tourism, overall tourist bookings have tripled by the first half of 2021, increasing from 258,000 bookings recorded by the end of August 2020 to more than 80,000 bookings by the end of March 2021.
Number one, overall tourist bookings had tripled by the first quarter of 2021, increasing from 27,542 bookings recorded by end of August 2020 to 83,464 bookings by end of March 2021.
Katusime called upon all Ugandans and development partners to support the full recovery of the tourism sector. TV Africa News, Kachanchu Mtabazi reporting.
Let's take a very quick short break. We will be right back. Following the volcanic eruption of Nyiragongo on Saturday in the eastern region of the Democratic Republic of Congo, hundreds of locals who remain within the vicinity have no choice but to walk long distances from their homes to fetch water at Lake Kivu. We have more. With little warning, Mount Nyiragongo turned the dark sky fiery red on Saturday night and then spewed torrents of lava into villages, destroying more than 500 homes, according to officials and survivors. The toll on Monday increased from 22 to 32 and was likely to continue rising, according to Joseph Makundi, head of civil protection for the North Kivu province, adding that more than a dozen people died in car accidents while trying to escape, while others were killed when lava hit their homes. Some died Monday from inhaling smoke or toxic gas when they were walking across a wide expanse of the cooling lava, according to the scientific director of the Volcanic Observatory of Goma, Celestine Kasereka Mahinda. He warned the population of Goma to avoid unnecessary travel to places that have been hit by lava from the volcano because these lavas are toxic and harmful. The Mount Nyiragongo volcano eruption caused about 5,000 people to flee from one neighborhood of Goma, a city of about 2 million people, across the nearby border into Rwanda. Mali's transitional president and prime minister have resigned after they were arrested on Monday by the military in what amounts to a second coup in 9 months, according to an aide to the country's ruling strongman and a member of an international mission.
Baba Cissé, the international mediation mission currently in Mali, who also doubles up as a special advisor to Colonel Assimi Goïta, say that President Ba Ndong and his Prime Minister Makta have resigned before the arbitrator. An ECOWAS delegation on Wednesday morning went to the Kati military camp, about 15 kilometers from Bamako, to meet the two leaders who have been held there since their arrest. Colonel Goïta, who holds the rank of vice president in the transitional government, accused Ndong and Own of failing to consult him on the reshuffle. Monday's interim cabinet reshuffle came amid signs of discontent among the public, which had initially held the army for bringing down Keita. The opposition M7 movement urged dissolving the interim government and demanded a more legitimate body.
Former South African President Jacob Zuma pleaded not guilty to corruption, racketeering, fraud, tax evasion and money laundering charges in a corruption trial that began at Pietermaritzburg High Court on Wednesday. We have more.
Among the charges, Zuma is accused from taking bribes from French company Thales to ensure that South Africa signed a multi-billion-dollar arms deal with the company in 1999. Zuma was deputy president of South Africa from 1999 until 2005, when he was fired from that role amid allegations of corruption, then president from 2009 until he was forced out in 2018 amid multiple graft scandals. Zuma was first implicated in corruption by prosecutors in 2005, but charges against him have been dropped and reinstated several times over the years amid allegations of political interference. Prosecutors allege between 1995 and 2001, Zuma and Thales were involved in an organized criminal enterprise. They also accuse Zuma of taking bribes from a former financial advisor as far back as 1995 in exchange for using his political power to advance the advisor's business interests. On Wednesday, Zuma's lawyer filed papers calling for the removal of the chief prosecutor in the case, claiming he was biased and Zuma's right to a fair trial was threatened, which the judges promised to consider. Zuma could be jailed for 25 years if convicted.
Somalia's foreign minister told the UN Security Council on Tuesday that an agreement has been reached between the federal government and regional states that will lead to the long-delayed national elections. Mohamed Abdilizak said that the agreement on the three key issues to complete the deal was reached in principle on Tuesday, culminating negotiations between the government and member states that began on May 22nd. He said a communique detailing the agreement will be issued Thursday at a closing ceremony. There had been growing pressure on Somalia's president, Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed, after scheduled elections on February 8th failed to take place because of the lack of agreement on how the vote should be carried out, and two regional states said they would not take part without a deal. Talks between the federal government and regional leaders that began in March broke down in early April. The president's request, the lower house of parliament then adopted a special law that extended the terms of current office holders for 2 years and abandoned a September 17, 2020 agreement on indirect elections, reverting instead to a one-person, one-vote model. Those decisions sparked widespread opposition, leading to the mobilization of militias, exposing divisions within Somali security forces and resulting in violent clashes on April 25th. Following the clashes, President Mohammed on May 1st asked the lower house of parliament to reverse its actions that included extending his mandate for 2 years, which meeting resulted into Tuesday's agreement in principle. Let's once again take a very quick short break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, The Right to Know. In our business news today, French President Emmanuel Macron has today, Thursday, arrived in Kigali, and this is his first trip to the Rwandan capital. Macron has done this as a sign of renewal of diplomatic ties between Rwanda and France.
According to official information from Rwanda, France President Emmanuel Macron's official visit was announced after Rwandan President Paul Kagame attended the Paris Summit on Financing African Economies. President Macron said during the summit that his trip will have several objectives, with a focus on politics, remembrance, health and the future, and hope for President Kagame to write a new page in the relationship and to carry out highly structuring projects. Despite the responsibility of the French government in the 1994 Tutsi genocide is still a tense point in relations between the two countries, Rwandans welcomed the move. French President Macron should give a speech at the Kigali Genocide Memorial, where the victims of the 1994 Tutsi genocide are remembered each year. Many hope that this will help normalize relations between the two countries after decades of tensions.
In our health news today, around 300 inmates at Al Ajat 1 prison in Sal, a city about 15 kilometers from Rabat, were given a COVID-19 vaccination on Wednesday as part of authorities' attempts to curb the spread of the virus in Morocco. Let's take a look. According to the General Delegation for Prison Administration and the Health Ministry, at least 12,000 of the 85,000 prisoners and prison staff in the North African country have been vaccinated since the national campaign began in January. Taufik Abtal, head of the health division at the prison, said that their efforts to combat the spread of COVID-19 in prisons started from the first case in April 2020. The prisoners who received the COVID-19 jab were thankful, with one commenting that he had not expected the campaign inside prisons to take place. Since the pandemic began last year, 626 cases and 11 deaths have been recorded among the prison population, according to official figures. In April 2020, more than 5,600 prisoners were released by King Mohammed VI to avoid contagion in the country's overcrowded jails. Across Morocco, over 8 million people have now had their first COVID-19 jab, while nearly 5 million have been fully vaccinated with 2 doses. In our sports news today, Uganda Cranes and Al Ittihad Alexandria Club forward Emanuela Okwi is rumored to be the next Cranes captain, according to sources. His first assignment will be during the international friendly away to South Africa on 12th June 2021. Our reporter Kachanchu has more.
Emmanuel Arnold Okwi takes over mantles from retired goalkeeper Dennis Onyango, who had served in the role since 2017 after taking over from Andrew Mwesigwa. The former Sports Club Villa and Simba forward is experienced, has the leadership skills and has played for the Uganda Cranes team for now a decade, including 2 African Cup of Nations finals in 2017 held in Cameroon and 2019 in Egypt. Okwi takes on a huge responsibility to lead the country without fear or favor at a time there is a rebuilding process for the national team with new players coming into the set as the long-serving gracefully retire. Uganda Cranes play South Africa during an international friendly match as the two countries commence life after unsuccessful AFCON 2021 qualification campaigns.
Now, before we end our news bulletin today, let's take a recap of our top stories. President Museveni calls for an emergency national COVID-19 task force meeting. Swearing-in of local government representatives enters day 2. Locals trek to Lake Kivu as volcano crisis cuts water supply in Democratic Republic of Congo. And in sports, Okwi elevated to Uganda Cranes captain's status. That was the news. Thank you for always keeping it TV Africa. Please do stay tuned. More programming coming your way.
This is Africa, and that was the news.